Just gonna do 3/4 Fullard, talk about turning toes, putting heels on, just basic making shoes, going through the steps and motions. So that's what we're gonna do. If there are any questions, ask. I'm gonna mark it off just a hair to the inside so you can draw the inside branch a little bit. The fronts I usually just go 1.5 inches, depending on how much you bump. You gotta know that if you're gonna bump this much, or if you're gonna mark there and then bump that together, then you gotta go a little bit more.